Welcome to the April 4th, 2022 Town Board meeting. Can I get a motion to open up this evening's meeting?
I will make that motion.
Poole will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
And I.
Okay, so moved. Community announcements. This coming Thursday here at Town Hall, the Harriman Army Navy will be having an event called Prom It Forward. It's a giveaway event where they will have shoes, dresses, and other apparel to assist those students who have some difficulty in purchasing these items. All those items will be given away, and those students can use them for the prom. I thought it was real nice of them. If they were accepting the items last week on Friday, but if you still have some, you can head down to Army Navy. Richie, I know you probably got a prom dress that you wore.
I took him to the prom.
So-
It says that they'll accept them until April 5th.
Oh, they will, okay.
Yeah.
So that's tomorrow. So that's good.
Oh,
And
that's
that event will be from 6:30 to 9:30.
thinking
Would you say, Mary?
No, I'm agreeing with
Oh, okay. All right.
Is that something they do every year, or this is the first year?
There's a woman that, out of Woodbury, that was doing it. I believe her last name was Torres?
Lopez?
Lopez?
Yeah.
Okay. And she was...
Same woman or same group?
No, this is Jenny
This is
and
Jen's.
Maddie and Army and Navy.
Okay.
And I think they joined forces with her. They
Good.
reached out to her, so.
Good.
So they're going to have it in here. We're going to use those two left closets as dressing rooms. They're going to set it up.
We had
So
them
that-
last year at Sacred Heart.
Oh, did
They
you?
did that.
Oh, all right, good.
Exchange. Yeah, it was very well attended. So
Good.
it'll be good here.
Good, okay. Next item up is clean sweep. You got anything to expand on it, Sal?
We're still taking some sponsorships. If anyone out there would like to sponsor that, I think this gentleman maybe could be interested right here. Well, we're asking you now.
Yeah, I'll give you a form. I'll give you a form.
Thank you.
It's only $100. Yeah. Oh, so then maybe you take the large sponsorship since you haven't done anything for 3 years.
That is a great event. What, we have 200 last year or better?
Yeah, just about
A
200
lot of
people.
people
We ran
in.
out of shirts. I think they only ordered like 170 shirts. We
Get
ran
out there and clean the community.
Yep.
Like
All
this
right.
gentleman did a few weeks ago.
So I just want to make one adjustment to the agenda. I know Richie has to go to a fire district meeting or a training or whatever, since it's Monday night. So I just want to move his request from item 7.1 up to this time. So would you like to come up? You're welcome.
Rich Goldstein, I'm actually here representing Arden Forest Condominiums. I'm president of the association, and we're currently undergoing a major renovation. I'm going to sit if you don't mind. So we're undergoing a major renovation. We're renovating the entire exterior of the building, new siding. We've done everything, all the decks, everything's been replaced. So one of the things that the contractor had requested from us in the beginning was that he was able to put storage containers there for his material to protect them from A, being stolen, and B, being damaged by the weather while he was working, because it's about a 2-month project. So we approved it, not realizing that there's town code that was preventing us from having these containers there on site. So what I'm here for tonight is to ask for permission to have those containers there. One of them actually is going to probably be removed in about 2 weeks, and then we'll be left with just one.
How long ago did the 2-month period start?
I was here to ask till June 1st. I don't think it's going to go that long. I think they're going to be done sometime probably towards the end of this month, but I didn't want to have to come back again, so I don't think they're going to be there much past that. Parking is not a situation there at all. There's plenty of parking, so we don't have an issue with that. But just for the protection of what's going on there, it's quite an extensive project, and there is a lot of material that's there, and I understand why he wants to keep it in the storage containers.
Mr. Goldstein, how big are the containers? Like 18-footers or
I think they're 40-footers.
40? Oh, so
Yeah.
they're like tractor trailers. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, and they're full. They're full to the max. The
Yeah.
one is probably about half empty right now because they started deciding this week. And these guys are fast. I mean, they showed up.
There's
like 20
their
guys.
equipment and the material in there.
Equipment and material, yes.
Okay, and I'm sure it keeps the job a lot cleaner.
It's keeping the job very clean, and we've had some issues in the neighborhood there, so it's better that he keeps his stuff in there locked up and protected. And I understand with the weather, you're dealing with pressure-treated stuff, baking in the sun and things like that, so.
Okay.
We do have a permit for the project. It is permitted through the town of Monroe with Mr. Maldonado. And he was actually the one that informed me that I had to come here before the town board just to get permission for the containers. So that's what I'm here for tonight.
Anybody have any other questions? This is pretty simple. I'd like to make a motion that we approve those containers on site till June 1st. Let's make it June 15th, just in case there's any weather delays or everything.
I'll second.
Determine that good cause was shown.
Excuse me?
Good cause was shown for the temporary permission.
Okay.
That's what's required under the code.
Had that good call.
Not picking up.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Full aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
And I,
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for moving me up on the agenda. I appreciate that.
all right, take care of it.
Public hearing, motion to open the continuation of public hearing, proposed application. I'll make a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing for the proposed application for the 2023 Orange County Community Development Block Grant Program.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Full aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
And I,
Okay, so moved.
No public comment.
No public comment. Okay, we have narrowed down the projects, and I just want to get some, I got an email today that we may have to adjust something in the project, but from a New York CARES grant that we applied for, there was an item on there that we didn't qualify for. It's actually a generator, so we're going to try to maybe switch that over to the CDBG grant. So what I'd like to do is, once everybody has expressed any comments, I'd like to close the hearing, and then we'll pass the resolution, because the resolution has to be project-specific. So when we apply, it says that you're applying for A, B, and C, or whatever. So.
what are the projects?
So there's the kitchen, the roof, because, and a generator, possibly. No, for senior center.
Senior Center.
Oh, for senior center.
Didn't they just have a roof done?
No, so what happened with that was, so when we applied for that, I was under the assumption, based on the approval we got, that the roof was included in there. But when I spoke to McGooey, Hauser, and Edsel this week, we got approval for $125,000 in construction projects, and the roof was one of our projects on the list. But there are two handicap accessible doors, the main door and then the side door, that are going to be worked on. And because the front door was a part of another project that got omitted because of the cost. So those two doors are going to be worked on, and that would prohibit the amount of the roof. So the roof, I believe, is being applied for in the New York CARES. So that'll be done either through that or in next year's project. And there is also the possibility that we will apply for a total of $375,000 from CDBG, but that would then prohibit us from applying for 3 years, reapplying for 3 years, because it's a 3-year program. The village was just awarded $375 for the water main, right?
For the water main, yeah.
Yeah. So that's where that stands. Did I clarify that? Okay.
What about a generator for this building?
So
This
generator.
would be like a.
Generator for this building is obviously in the works.
Okay.
With Millennium. We have applied, this is our second go-around. and I spoke to Dave Jenkins on the 29th, I think it was, and he's awaiting a response for that, along with responses from the 2 water districts that we've applied for grants for. So, and he's expecting those and water grants are Park ones for District 4. That generator grant was a bulk grant because we were applying for not only this, we were applying for 4 of our water district pump houses. Water District 12 has a generator now.
Right, and it came in very handy when there was a power blackout this past week, so it works.
Yeah. They, you saw they did the culvert up by you today, right?
Yes, that was done
Yeah.
today. Drain still needs to be finished, I believe.
What's that?
There's a storm drain I think they still need to finish.
Yeah,
That's it.
on the down part of the,
Yes.
yeah. Okay? So I'd like to, nobody has any other comments, I'd like to make a motion to close the public hearing for the proposed application of the 2023 Orange County Community Development Block Grant.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Item 4.3 is a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing for the proposed Arrow Park Water District. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mary beat you to it. I'm going to give Mary credit on that one.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
So moved. How are you? Good. Just remember to state your name and where you're from, for the record, please.
Leah Cole, 615 Stage Road, Monroe, New York.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. How's everybody?
Everybody is
good.
awesome.
Good,
How
thank
about
Nice to
you?
not be wearing masks.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
Can hear better.
hopefully it'll hold up, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Just came to see what's going on. Any news about the
Yeah,
grant
so I just
yet?
spoke about the grant.
I missed it. What'd you say?
So we're awaiting a response.
Okay.
From our grant writer, and he's waiting for a response from the who we applied to.
Great.
And that should be given to us in a month, within a month, as was his rhetoric when I spoke to him last week.
Great.
So we're just waiting on that, and until we get that, I've spoken to Sean some weeks ago. I'm not going to make any determination in a letter about when we send it to the residents what it's going to cost until we find out what the grant amount is, hopefully. And I say hopefully only because I don't want to get denied again. I would hope that it gets approved.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's all I really wanted to know was where we were in the process. And then I guess once if you'd let us know when the letter goes out, I'd like to mobilize the troops because we had a big power outage a couple weeks ago. You
I
got
was
the-
well aware. I spoke to Nadia.
The pitchforks came out.
Yeah. And listen, I tried to quell their, displeasure as best. And I'm like, listen, it's a power outage. You can't blame them. You gotta, it's an act of God, and O&R's got to get out there and make the, repairs.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right?
All right.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, Julie.
Bye.
Thanks for staying in touch.
No problem. Good night.
Good night.
Aye.
I'll make a.
Advisor, do you need to do anything with the CDBG, the resolution to do anything?
No, once I get the actual specific
Okay, so I just want to make sure.
yeah,
Thanks.
projects, yep. Thank you. I'll make a motion to keep open the continuation of the public hearing for the proposed Arrow Park Water District. Let's go to the second meeting in May, which is May 16th, yes. May 16th, thank you. 7 p.m. or immediately thereafter.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Motion to open the public hearing for local law B-V1 to reduce the number of planning board members from 7 725. I'll make that motion.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Bull, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ancarilla, aye.
And I,
So moved. Anybody sign up? Mr. Burke?
Good evening.
Good evening. Just say your name, where you live.
Yeah, I'm Dan Burke, and I'm in the town and village of Monroe at 11 Rye Hill Road. And in regard to a planning board, a lot of people I talk to are worried about overdevelopment, and they always bring up planning board. So they see that as a kind of a bulwark against improper development. So people are in favor of a good, strong planning board. And I'm thinking 5 might be middle, 7 is better. To give you an example of the extreme that it can go to, in our neighbor, the village of South Blooming Grove, the mayor last April replaced all 5 members of the planning board at one time. Now in the town of Monroe, there's 1 a year, which leads to stability, predictability. That's the way to do it. I don't see how that could happen. And then the same mayor sold his house, 21 acres, for $4.6 million, according to Chris McKenna of the Times Herald Record. So I mean that's the depths of a poor planning board situation can go to. So I think the one here has been strong over the years, and the idea of having 1 new member over a 7-year period just keeps it more stable. 5 is good, less is better. 7 is better. And one side effect, you have 2 more citizens that are drawn into the business of the town of Monroe, and you get 2 more active people, which is a positive side effect. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Burke. Anyone else?
All for public.
Anybody from the board have any comments?
Oops, wrong button. Sorry. I wanted to say the planning board, we've had the same engineering firm there since 2010. They're very familiar with the projects. The attorney that's representing the planning board has been there now for 4 years, I believe, and she's very good. She's been aware of all the projects, writing the resolutions. There hasn't been a problem with the 7-member board in that not enough members were showing up for a quorum. It's been hard, some people were coming in late. I think if you have 5 very dedicated members, it will work just as well. It had been 5 members before 2010. So no disrespect to the members who have left. They were very knowledgeable. But I think the members that are on the board now have a very good understanding of the town code, the principles involved with planning, and as I said, the engineer and the attorney are very knowledgeable as well. So I think reducing it down to 5 members again, I feel is a proper way to go.
I would just comment that, by your own statement there, Mr. Burke, that our reduction numbers doesn't really correlate with the issues in South Blooming Grove, in that our planning board members do serve terms and are replaced when their term is completed. So this board or any other future board couldn't just go in and wipe out every member if they wanted to replace them. So that's not something that would happen here in the town of Monroe. So it really doesn't correlate, and it kind of goes to what Mrs. Bingham was saying, was about how, listen, it's hard to find qualified people to volunteer that time and effort to be on that board, because it is a very technical, labor-intensive board to be on. There'll still be alternates, which is a great, alternates are a great feeder for the main board, and so we don't see that as being an issue or correlating at all between what happens on the other side of the highway and what happens here.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, Councilman McGinn, so that when we go down to 5 members, we'll get to a point, I believe, Mr. Nugent, is it 2027, where at that point, there'll be a rotation, one member every 5 years. We have to wait for the current terms to expire.
Yeah, and by the way, that's the case in every municipality. It's
Right.
not up to a municipality. I believe what happened in South Blooming Grove is they were all holdovers.
I was just going to add that, too.
That's why they got replaced.
Yeah.
But every state, the state law requires whether you have 7 or 5, that just determines how long the term is, and they're supposed to be staggered every single year, as the town of Monroe is. So when those next 2 terms expire, then they just won't be replaced, and you'll end up with the 5 members. But it's going to take some time. Yeah, I think it's 27 before you actually get down to the 5 members with no extras. And again, you can also have alternates if you do want to have a backup.
Yeah, which
but your
we will.
quorum, as Councilwoman Bingham pointed out, will go from 4 to 3, so you'll have a better chance of having
Yes.
a quorum.
And there'll be fewer canceled meetings. When the quorum goes from 4 down to 3, then you're guaranteed that those meetings are going to take place. When you cancel meetings, people become very frustrated, and that's when tensions run high. So making the planning board function more effectively and efficiently is actually better at 5 than at 7.
Okay. Anyone else? Motion. I don't have to keep this. Make a motion to close the public hearing regarding local law B-V1 to reduce number of planning board members from 7 to 5.
Hool will second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Hool. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Hool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
So moved. Okay. Acceptance of the March 21st, 2022 meeting.
Supervisor,
Minutes?
do we have to make a motion to accept local law B-V1 tonight?
Have a resolution before you to adopt if
Yeah.
you want to do that tonight.
It's up to the pleasure of the board. If you'd like to, we can adopt it tonight. It's up to the board.
I think it's good to do it tonight since we closed the public hearing.
Okay. A motion, Council?
I'll make a motion. Town clerk, do we have an official number for this law yet?
Number 2.
2 of 2022. Okay, so I'll make a motion to accept local law 2 of 2022, reducing the number of planning board members from 7 to 5.
Second.
By Councilman McGinn. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Hool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. Thank you, Councilwoman Bingham. Acceptance of the March 21st, 2022 minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second.
Everybody have a chance to read them and go through? No changes, alterations, adjustments? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Hool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
So moved. Item 5.2, acceptance of the March 23rd, 2022 Joint Town Board Planning Board Workshop minutes. I'll make a motion to approve those.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Hool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved. Next item on the order, under the audit of claims, item 6.1 is a general fund abstract. General fund abstract 22-06 for a total amount of $307,833.81. I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Hool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
Again, aye. Mike, you want to read the abstract of claims for the consolidated cash adjustment? I just X'd out of my minutes of my meeting here. Sorry.
Six point two, consolidated cash adjustments. Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Monroe made a motion to adjust consolidated cash and checking to the amount of $654,364.65.
Adjustments.
I'll second.
Question.
Hool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Stankerel, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay, so moved.
7.1.
I got back in, so
Back in, right.
we're on on 7.2. The engineering agreement for the senior center accessibility improvements. So it's got to do with what I mentioned before, the ADA entry ramp improvements, parking lot restriping, door automation, and improvements to the second means of egress, which is the back portion of the building. So we were awarded a grant in the amount of $125,000 to be used toward completion of this work. We're just waiting for that municipal grant agreement from the county. So, approval for the supervisor to sign that agreement with MHE in the town of Monroe.
I'll make a motion for the supervisor to sign the agreement with MHE.
Second,
I'll second.
question?
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, no, I can't. Yeah, I can. I'm sorry. Cardone, aye.
Stankerel, aye.
Okay. Next item up is 7.3, which is the surveying proposals for the senior center. And this has to do with the topo for these projects. McGooey Hauser Netzel, or MHE, went out, tried to get secured three quotes. They secured two. One was from Mercurio, Norton, Tiroli, Marshall Engineering and Land Surveying, and that was for $1,400. And the other one was from CV Associates Engineering and Land Surveying. That was for $1,600. You have the proposals in your packet. I would like to act on this tonight so we could get things rolling there.
McGooey Hauser said Mercurio, Norton, Tiroli, Marshall had the lowest bid, so I make a motion to accept their bid.
I'll second.
Question?
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Stankerel, aye.
And aye.
Okay. Next item is 7.4, the employee handbook social media policy. We were given that a few weeks ago by our council. If anybody had the chance, hopefully everybody had the chance to read it over, and we're just waiting for approval on that to add that into our handbook. I've read it. I think it's as best as you're going to get with regard to social media and guidance for employees. So, I mean, I'll make the motion to approve that for our employee handbook.
Poole will second.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I want to say Ward Brower was ahead of his time because he's been identifying his own personal opinions and not as a conservation, but as his own. And anytime he comes up, I want to applaud him for doing that. Like I said, he's ahead of the time with the handbook.
That's right, that's right.
Thank you, Ward.
I noticed that, all of the disclaimers for when they do post, to note that their posting and their opinions do not reflect those of the town of Monroe.
Or of the sponsors.
Or of the sponsors, that's right.
A second, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Poole, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Stankerel, aye.
And aye.
Okay, so moved. Next up, item 7.5, the 2022 New York State Assessors Association meeting. So Royce, or Rip Noblin, has asked to attend the 2022 Assessors Association training at Cornell University. Training cost is $550. Hotel accommodations are $670. That training cost will probably be reduced because Rip is a presenter at some of the classes, so he'll be able to get a reduction in that training cost based on the amount of classes he actually conducts. So I would like to make a motion to approve his attendance there at a maximum cost of $1,220.
Bingham to second.
And do you have some?
Oh, no.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Okay, so moved. Okay, ZBA escrow refund. I'm gonna abstain from this since this is my mother-in-law. And there's a request regarding return of escrow from two accounts, which were in the name of Maple Tree Associates and Pollock Farms. And the owner on those accounts was Joseph Dierna, my father-in-law, who has passed away. A death certificate is provided there, and funds will be returned to his wife, Ann Dierna. Yes, please.
So we have a letter here from Ann Deanna, 498 Round Lake Park Road, Monroe, New York, and dated February 14th, 2022. And it has come to my attention that my late husband, Joseph Deanna, has two escrow accounts still open with the planning board, which contains balances owed to him. I enclosed a copy of his death certificate along with a letter so that the check could be issued in order to refund the balances of the following projects: 004-2000 Maple Tree Associates, Joseph Derna, $970. 008-1996 Pollock Farms, Joseph Deanna, $844.15, total due $1814.15. Thank you so much for your understanding, kindly, Ann Deanna. There is a copy of the death certificate attached, and Noreen McSweeney, the planning board secretary, did in fact confirm that these amounts were correct and still being held in escrow. So I'll make a motion that return them to Ann Deanna as requested.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Cardone, abstain.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
So moved. Thank you very much. As frugal as my father-in-law was, I can't believe he still had the money in the account.
Maybe he was thinking of representing to the planning board, who knows?
Well, and the reason everything came up was Noreen had did a analysis of all the accounts, and she didn't know it was my father-in-law. She gave me a copy and said, you just want to review this to make sure, because we want to close out any of the dormant projects. So there was a couple other ones on there, I think, that submitted as well. So that's that. Thank you. Item 7.7, Town Hall Summer Hours. So in light of everything that's gone on the last couple of months with gas prices and the fact that this was extremely successful and appreciated by the employees the last couple of years, we've proposed to do summer hours beginning the week of June 6th, Monday through Wednesday. Hours will be 7:30 to 5 o'clock with a 30-minute lunch. On Thursday, they will be 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a 1-hour lunch. And Friday, Town Hall will be closed. Anybody have any?
Similar to last year, right?
Yeah, well, what happened last year was the way they did it is they had Town Hall closing at 4:45. And when it was brought to my attention, I didn't like that it's closing at 4:45. Leave it at 5 o'clock. So they adjusted the time frame here and there, and I think it's beneficial to employees, especially that there's some of them that drive 45 minutes to an hour to get here. So for the summer, and the fact that it was good last year and it was productive, and there were also residents that appreciated us being open a little later so that they can get home from work and handle any. Val, you had said that there was quite a bit of people that would come in during the week between 4 and 4:45, so to speak, right? For building, yeah. So, yeah, true. Okay.
One other question.
Yep.
The 30-minute lunch and the 1-hour lunch, could it possibly be flexible with some of the employees sometimes for them to take that 1-hour lunch maybe on a Monday, or do you want to keep it consistent that
I'd rather keep it consistent because,
then you don't know who took it on Monday,
Yeah,
who
and
took
I
it
don't-
on Tuesday?
I
Okay.
don't want people to be coming in and saying, hey, I took an hour lunch on Tuesday, but next week I'm going to take it on Monday. I think if we keep it consistent, we'll be fine,
That was my only question. Thank you.
unless anybody else has a, no.
A later time supervisor, too, would also be beneficial to residents that are applying for marriage licenses.
Make it earlier, because there's a lot of males that might want to, not apply.
He had one today, right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll make a motion that we approve the summer hours.
Who will second?
One other question. When is it going to end? You said it was going to start on 6/6.
It's probably going to go to Labor Day
Okay.
week, but I would like to leave that open-ended, and we'll approve that as things move on.
Oh, then Bingham, aye.
Pool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
And I,
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have a ZBA appointment. We have an alternate position that is open, and Barbara Iannucci had expressed interest, and it took a while for her and Chairman Murphy to connect. She would like to be an alternate, and her letter says, "To whom it may concern," it was dated March 1st, which is the day after the open house, and that served as a great recruitment tool. Thank you, Councilwoman Houle. It says, "I attended the open house last night where I met Tony Cardone, who informed me of an opening on the ZBA, and I would like to put my name in for consideration to the post. I lived at 227 Spring Street for over 35 years, and I'm interested in getting involved in my community. I currently work full-time from my home. Before starting from home, I worked at what is now the YMCA pool. I was there for 15 years, involved in breaking down the business that was there, K&M Newspaper Services. Before starting my family, I worked for Verizon, starting as an operator and leaving as an outside engineer for 13 years. Hold on, sorry. Looking forward to serving my community in some fashion, so if ZBA has not been filled, please consider me for another spot. Oh, I'm sorry. If ZBA has been filled, please consider me for another spot that might open. But it hasn't been filled. Mike Murphy spoke very highly of Barbara and said he would like to approve her to one of the alternate slots.
make that motion.
Slot 2. Yeah,
Two.
What's the end date? Yeah.
Right, 12/31/2024. Okay. So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Again, I,
So moved. Okay. Item 9.1, 9.2, public comment.
Burke?
Hello again. Dan Burke, 11 Rye Hill Road, town and village of Monroe. I was looking online to see if the budget was on the website. I didn't see it there, so if I wanted to see the budget, I would have to do a FOIL, I think. But
Oh, it's on the first page. If you
it's
look
on the first page?
Yep.
I'll look again. Thank you. Good. And I was told by one of the council people that the solar farm is made a step forward, and we're going to hear some news tonight about it. Is that possible? But don't answer the question. You wait till I sit down, right? And when the solar farm was first contracted for, the comptroller told us that it would save the town $3,000 a month. So when the solar farm is up and running and everything is in place, it would be nice if there were some kind of a visual so that we could see the money flow, how much it costs to operate the solar farm, how much it saved. Because one of the reasons of having a solar farm is to save the town money. The other reason is to encourage other municipalities, private homeowners, businesses to get their panels up too, and save the planet. But and also I was looking for something that maybe it'd have a monthly dog report. The number of dogs running loose, dog bites reported to the county, and I'm wondering if the New York State Department of Marketing and Agriculture requires some kind of report from the town. Maybe the dog control officer in Woodbury could draw something up. And, well, that's it for tonight. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Else?
John Deschner?
Whoa.
John Deschner, Johnny Debris. Like I said, I want to continue to talk about voting, how important it is to vote, and we have to. Now you said to change the general elections, and was that up in Goshen?
No, there was a change in the districts.
The elections, to change the write-in ballot.
To change the write-in ballots? Yeah, you have to go, probably have to make a submittal to Goshen, to the Board of Elections. Listen, I'm not well-versed in making a change. So, I mean, I would just call up to the Board of Elections, ask for the chairman of either the Democratic or Republican Party, whoever you're associated with, and they'll address whatever question you have.
Because we want an open, honest, transparent election.
No. Just don't take up Ward's time tonight, like you did last week.
You know, last week I was going to yield the rest of my time.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, boy. Where was I?
Going up to
Board of
Goshen.
Election.
So you
Part
may
of a-
actually have to, Johnny, you may actually have to go to the state for that. I just did a quick Google search of states that do not allow write-in ballots, and there's only 4. So that may be a state
What
law.
are they, Dory? What states are they?
Hawaii, Louisiana, Nevada, Oklahoma, and South Dakota. So there's 5 that don't allow it. Hawaii, Louisiana, Nevada, Oklahoma, and South Dakota do not allow it.
Yeah. Because this is not fair, it's not honest, it's not transparent. To stand on the sidelines and wait for an opportunity, and then come in here in the last minute with a write-in ballot, and then have a well-organized group steal the election.
That's right. You may want to speak with Kate Luciani, assuming that she's successful in November, and Carl Brabenec, and get the state assembly involved in this.
State Assembly.
We don't disagree with you.
Johnny, if you want to write a letter, send it to me, and I'll forward it to Assemblyman Brabenec. and
Yeah, I'd
then-
rather do that.
And if Kate is elected,
Yeah,
I'll forward it to her as well, and we'll speak to her. We saw her the other night.
I'd rather write the letter to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean, you got a lot more clout.
No, not more, no, not more clout than you.
You know, nobody up in Goshen knows who Johnny Debris is.
Oh, yes, they do.
You'd be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
They know who you are.
You saw the monthly update last week, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They got 10,000
Okay.
hits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got 10,000 hits. In fact, there was a couple of women that reached out, were looking for a date too,
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
So,
You actually inspired a 7-year-old girl to write a letter to
Yes.
the mayor of the village of Monroe. I was having a conversation with one of my students about garbage on Stage Road. And she said to me, you know, if there were garbage pails on Stage Road, people would have some place to put their garbage. And I said, Grace, that's a fantastic idea. And her little 7-year-old penmanship, she wrote a letter to the mayor of the Village of Monroe, to Neil Dwyer, and at the bottom of the letter, she signed it in script, in cursive, and I helped her address the envelope, and she mailed it, and she's going to appear before the village board.
Oh, my God.
So what you've done is you're getting other generations and other people
Yeah.
to show some sort of vested interest in taking pride in our community and making it look as beautiful as it can be. So thank you for that.
It would be nice if people could actually pick up garbage in front of their house, maybe 50 feet in either direction.
I agree with you.
Oh, my God.
It would be nice if people didn't throw it out their car windows. That would be the best, because then there would be
Yeah.
clean
Yep.
roadways.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Dory, I want to thank you for your patriotic family.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Your husband was in Afghanistan, and your son is in
Maria.
South Korea.
Yep.
And, of course, at different times, right?
Well, yes. My husband's home now. My son is away.
The reason I asked that, I don't know if you remember the famous Sullivan Brothers.
Oh, I absolutely do. That's one of my
They were
favorite
on
movies.
a ship, and they got
Yeah, all 5 of them.
torpedoed,
Yep.
and the whole family was wiped out, all
Yep.
5.
All 5.
So
Yep.
they have a new law now that
They do. They're not allowed to serve in the same
Yeah,
place.
they can't put,
That was that was behind Saving Private Ryan. That's the whole reason that they had to go find
Yeah.
James Ryan and bring him back home, because his brother was killed.
right. All right, the other thing is that I'm worried about traffic around here when Ninja Road opens up. And it's going to be terrible. And I'm worried about water, too. Now, those 2 new houses on Spring Street, they're like apartment houses.
Apartments.
Yes.
Is
Yeah,
that Spring Street?
that's
Yes.
Spring Street.
Spring
Yep.
Street.
Yeah, now they're going to use village water
Yes,
and village sewer.
yes. Well, it's Orange County
County
sewer.
sewer.
Huh?
It's Orange County sewer. The
Oh, yeah.
the
right. Yeah,
whatever
the
they would use in the county sewer has already
Orange
been.
County sewer, yeah.
Yeah, they've already
Yeah,
accounted
so
for that.
I mean, the water, every time you put a well in, I remember years ago when I first got here, 46 years ago, 1976, I was talking to people, and somebody mentioned Lexington Hills. Now, a lot of you probably don't remember when Lexington Hills went in. But when Lexington Hills went in, they put a heck of a well in there. And a lot of people lost their water pressure all around them. So you got to be careful. You put these wells in, you just can't, keep on putting them in. And
I don't believe a new well is being installed for the homes on Spring Street.
the what?
I don't believe a new well is being installed for the homes on Spring Street. They'll just tap into the village water supply, the existing wells that we have.
And no,
I'll be sure, yeah.
and the traffic, I'll tell you, the traffic is going to be terrible. I guess nobody did a traffic study on what.
So those apartments on Ninja Road are in the village of Kiris Joel. They're not in the village. They're not in the town of Monroe. They're not in the village of Monroe.
Yeah, I know.
So when
they're different.
they went through their own internal planning process,
Yeah, they did their own thing.
so they would have done their own traffic studies.
Now, where is Ninja Road?
That's the one that runs in.
Right by the trooper barracks.
Is that in the town?
No, it's in the town, but it's a county road.
Yeah.
So we had no approvals as
It's in
far
the
as
town
that.
road, but it's not in the town of Lemon Tree.
Lemon,
Or
no,
Palm
Pine
Tree.
Tree.
Palm Tree.
Lemon Tree, Pine Tree, Palm
Palm
Springs.
Tree, yeah.
Yeah. It's in the town of Monroe, but it's a county road. So the county made the authorizations for the approvals.
And I had a nightmare the other night. talking about traffic. I says, what if the women over there got the right to drive and they were driving? It would bring this town to its knees. Huh?
I think it's going to be difficult with just the males presently
Yeah, I
driving.
know. Yeah, so, oh, by the way,
And those are issues that don't fall
Don't-
within
yeah.
our purview, Johnny? So unfortunately, it's not something that we have control over,
Is All Hallows still around?
All Hallows is still around, yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Doing better than ever.
yeah.
Doing better than ever,
Now,
yep.
Power Memorial's gone.
Power Memorial is gone, yeah. They built
Yeah.
condos
A lot
on
of you
it or
don't know who
something.
Power Memorial is,
Yeah,
but there was a basketball player called Lou
Well,
Alcindor.
Cinder.
yeah.
And
And
he
we had-
became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Abdul-Jabbar, yep.
And we had a Monroe resident, the late Mike McCarthy, who actually was the guard on that team. He played with Lou Alcindor.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And that's it. I just want the voting, and be careful with the wells. And I know next meeting, you got a hearing,
No, we don't have a hearing. We have an informational session,
informational about the
the dinosaur park.
dinosaur park. And, if things get rough, one suggestion, I would, maybe move it over to the Buena Perez, I don't know. They were going to put a casino over there at one time. It was one of the sites.
Yeah.
But I'll leave it up to you.
We're welcoming the public to come down and express
I'll
their
leave it up to you
opinions.
guys.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
I don't
All
think
right,
you can
thank
build
you.
on that property for close to a decade, that Napera property. I think that's why the casino pulled out. That property, that soil is contaminated,
Oh, yeah.
and I don't think there's anyone building anything there for at least a decade.
And unfortunately, Harriman was on the short end of a grievance where
Okay.
they're having to pay $400,000 back.
I got a trivia question for you.
All right, you
Wh-
got to make this quick because we got to move on. But go
Oh,
ahead.
yeah, where you have your food courts. Yeah, the
Food
food,
trucks.
Food truck festival?
Food truck
What is it?
The
festival?
O&R?
Food truck festival.
yeah, the food.
Yeah, the O&R
food-
Lakes.
Right.
Food
Okay.
trailers.
Yeah.
There's a street across the street. And the name of the street is Orico.
For Orange and Rockland Electric Company.
Did you say that?
I did.
Did.
All right, you're good.
Thank you.
We were prepared for that question tonight.
impressed me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all for public comment unless anyone else wants to speak.
And Mr. Burke, for your own information, if you go to the webpage, the main webpage for the town, and you go up in the upper right-hand corner, there's a search bar, and just put in the word budget, the budget will come up. You're welcome.
In answer to your two requests, Mr. Burke, dog bite reports would come from the Department of Agriculture, or you can contact the county for any dog bite reports. And as far as the controller's statement that the solar farm would save the town over $3,000 a month, that was a completely false and inaccurate statement. The solar farm is costing this municipality upwards of 40% more in electric costs. It was one of the most frivolous deals that was ever made by a board, and unfortunately, we were handcuffed with it. And if not for this board renegotiating the actual cost per kilowatt, it would have been even more than that.
And Supervisor, we're getting some credits, though, from O&R, but
Yeah,
it's not
but-
anywhere near the amount that
Yeah.
was anticipated.
Not anywhere near. Anybody have anything else?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. The Girl Scouts would like to use the parking lot at Town Hall on April 24th for I want to make sure I get this right. It is a recycle rain gutter regatta. They're going to need some flat space and access to water. and they'd like to know if they can use the parking lot on Sunday, April 24th, from 1:30 PM to 4:30 PM, which would include setup and cleanup.
Do they need the use of water?
They'll need to have some sort of water because it is some sort of like a boat building. They'll need to be able to float the boat down a track that they'll
Okay. All
float
right.
there. Yeah.
And do they will have water available? They can provide I guess we can bring one of our hoses over, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Well, if
Yeah,
we
no.
need to have them bring a hose, that would be fine.
Yeah, that's not a problem. There would,
I will definitely put in a request. Do you have anyone in particular that you like? The Samoans, okay. I'll make that part of the agreement. So I'd like to make a motion that we allow the Monroe Woodbury Girl Scout Troop to use the parking lot of Town Hall on April 24th from 1:30 to 4:30 PM.
I will second that.
all the question, and
Well, Bingham to second?
Wait, no, Sal seconded it. So,
Okay.
right? You seconded it, right? So before we do that, and did you say we are waiving any costs associated with that?
I'd like to waive the costs
Okay.
associated with that, yes.
Okay, just to make it clear.
Or make the cost payable in Samoa cookies.
There you go.
Works, that works.
Okay.
Down with that.
All
Throw in
right.
some Thin Mints for good measure, and
Councilwoman Bingham, you had something?
No, that's okay.
Okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Full aye.
Cardone, aye.
Gancarello, aye.
can I
Okay, so moved. Pass that down to Mike. He wanted to speak about that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Girl Scouts will be very
So-
appreciative.
Council, we have to discuss the SECRA Part 1, 2, and 3 regarding the lease for the dinosaur park.
Correct.
So I'm going to have Councilman McGinn read the resolution, but can you do a little explaining on the reasoning behind this, and that this is just for the lease? It's got nothing to do with the actual project.
Yeah, so first of all, you can just read the be it resolved portions of that when we get to it. So yeah, this is a resolution declaring lead agency and issuing a negative declaration, but this is only with respect to the lease of the town property. Under the SECR regulations, a lease of town property more than 100 acres is a type 1 action. Typically, these items would be done together as part of one overall SECR review, but the problem is you have a lease of town property and then a development that you don't have the details on yet. There's no site plan, there's no actual development, so it's speculative at this point exactly what that will look like. But in order to move the lease forward, the town board needs to approve that. So this is a case what we would call permissible segmentation, where we're doing the SECR on the lease only of the town property. However, with respect to the project, the proposed park that will be put on this property, there will be site plan review, and the SECR process will go forward with the actual project, and that's where you'll get into the details of, wetlands and noise and traffic and all those things. So those things will still be done. This resolution tonight is only for the approval and a negative declaration on the lease of the property, period, not any development. So this is what we would call permissible segmentation, and it is appropriate under these circumstances to do so. And then once an application is eventually received with the details and the site plans, the planning board will more likely than not be the lead agency on that and conduct the environmental review of the actual project impacts.
So the bottom line is, this does not usurp the secret process for site plan approval.
No, all this does is kind of segment the lease from the development, and it's only because we don't have the development plans yet. If we had everything, then we could do co-lead agencies, which would normally be the process. So we're not taking anything away from that review, and everything that would normally be done with respect to the project will still have to be done as far as secret review, and, whatever the planning board determines must be done for that secret review will need to be done. This is just in order to take care of the secret with respect to the lease. We can't ignore it. We can't not do secret if we're authorizing a lease of the property. So we have to do it, yet we can't review the project right now because we don't have the plan. So that's why this, under New York State case law and the regulations, is what would be considered a permissible segmentation of the environmental review.
Thank you for that clarification.
Okay, so the resolution reads as follows. A meeting of the town board of the town of Monroe, New York, was convened on April 4th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Yeah, I'm going to skip. Yeah, I was going to say the resolution of the town board of the town of Monroe declaring lead agency status and issuing a negative declaration for the lease of a certain parcel of land located within the town of Monroe. And scrolling on down. Now therefore be it resolved by the town board as follows. Section 1, all whereas paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference as though set forth in full. Section 2, the town board hereby declares lead agency status pursuant to SECRA in connection to the proposed action as the only agency with approval authority with respect to the action leasing the property. Section 3, the town board, a lead agency, hereby determines that the proposed action is a type 1 action under SECRA, and upon review of the full environmental assessment form, the town board hereby further determines that said lease of town property will not result in any significant adverse environmental impacts. For the reasons set forth in Part 3 of the full environmental assessment form, the town is segmenting the environmental review of the future project from the action involving the lease of the property, and such environmental review of any future projects will be conducted by the town planning board as the agency charged with site plan approval upon receipt of completion of a complete site plan application. Section 5, the town board hereby directs the town clerk and any other officer or employee as directed by the town supervisor to take any action necessary to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Section 6, the resolution shall be effective immediately. The question of adopting the foregoing resolution was duly put to a vote on roll call, which results as follows.
I'm just going to add, although it was in the whereas, that we did skip over that, just so it's identified. The property in question is approximately 131 acres on Orange Turnpike, identified in the tax maps as Section 31, Block 1, Lot 7.11.
Have any questions? No? I'll second the motion. Call the question.
Hingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
And I,
Okay, so moved. Anybody else have any business for the board? I will then make a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Pool eye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
and I.
So moved.